This is a little summary of our new suspension setup in the Sprinter van. Yet to be named. Nobody's naming their vans these days, but we haven't figured it out. Anyhow, we've got different shocks, front and rear. The fronts are the Van Compass FALCON inverted rally struts that are there. They are the opposite direction of travel for the strut and the stanchion than regular shock, which apparently makes it more durable. Can have bigger bearings in the actual around the stanchion, from my understanding, so that makes it a little bit longer wearing and better for more off-road and stuff like that. It's got a reservoir at the top there, which is also nice because you don't have to have two things attached to the frame. You don't have to have a shock or a strut and then another reservoir that's attached somewhere else on the body, which, the reason you have that is for extra oil. You don't heat the oil up as much, consequently, deteriorating the oil and eventually the strut performance. This is just one thing that gets installed, so that's been easier for the install for sure. And then you've got a number of different adjustments. You've got 3 settings that are, 1 is the softest, 3 is the most stiff, and then 2, which is the middle, gives you the ability to switch between 8 different settings from softer to firmer, and you just do that black dial inside of the red dial, which is pretty neat. And shockingly, I thought, we're probably never gonna adjust these shocks, but not the case. I've been, based on wind conditions, this is about it's like 7850, a little under 8,000 pounds. When we're fully loaded with bikes and stuff like that, I go between 2.2 and 2.3. 2.3, a little firmer, you don't get quite as affected by the wind, but if it's kind of not as windy, 2.2 on the fronts are nice. Gives you a nice smooth ride. Just feels like really luxurious. The rears are a little different. They do have a reservoir also attached, so you get that good performance, but not an inverted strut. It's more the traditional with an actual boot on the bottom there. And same adjustments though. And this one, I always run these a little softer in the rear. So if the front I have 2.2, I've been running these at 2.3 at the front, 2.2 on the rear right now. It just feels like you feel the push of the van forward and back, or side to side. At the front, the rear doesn't seem like it as much, so that's how I've been doing it. I like just having the rear kind of smush in and feel supple. So that's what we've been doing. But so far, just insanely huge improvement from our other, OEM stock Mercedes struts that were just like totally inadequate for the weight of the van after going to these ones, I would say. And then when we did this, we also put these BAJA brackets that give you way more stiffness, and it basically spreads the load out to more than just a single bolt. Because when you have a regular shock, and if you're watching this, you're probably aware, you only have this one bolt going through. So this basically strengthens the entire place around where you would have a shock, and it even has a place where it keeps the bolt from unscrewing. So lots of really cool little features just in that bracket alone, and I think pretty much the standard upgrade for anybody who has a Sprinter van and puts shocks on. Totally worth it for the, not a huge amount for those brackets, but I think really worthwhile. So more to come. We'll get you some accent shots and stuff like that. These are definitely cool. I think worth the money, and we've been so far super happy with it. Definitely a worthwhile add to the van. Okay, so here's a changeover of the Van Compass shocks. So you can see the settings. It's in 1 right now. You'll see once I move that over, but 3, 2, and then 1 is the white. So we're gonna go back to 2. You can see 1 is exposed there, and we have this in setting 2.1. So actually it's pretty soft, but that has been nice for us. And then the fronts, I'll go over here. These are a little bit more challenging to see, but this is the it's in 1 right now, so we're going to go over there to see the 2. I guess it's this way. There you go. And that's 2. It's a little dirty. And then you can see this is in 2 point. I think it's 2.3. Hard to see, but that's how you change it. Happy van. All right. Setting 1 on the Van Compass FALCON shocks, inverted rally struts up front. We're giving it. I'm just letting it roll down. This is like a pretty aggressively bumpy slope. I have full regular tire pressure, so it's pretty bumpy. Let's see. Tire pressure's there. Stock settings. And I think if I reduce the tire pressure a lot more, it would be much smoother. But it definitely is holding its own. It's in 4x4. You can see by the indicator there. And so far so good. At any rate, we're gonna get on some highway here soon. I'm gonna try driving and setting 1 on the highway because we just got a little jump onto the parking lot where we stashed the bikes, and I'm actually going to be really interested to see what setting 1 feels like on a highway scenario. And we are going to go into neutral, press our button, wait for 4x4 to disengage, and then back into drive, and then we're good to go. And that's going out of 4x4. Easy peasy. Now a little bit of a rip. Setting 1 feels definitely softer, but not horrendous.